What's good, YouTube? Listen, before you start this video, I need you to unsubscribe. That's right, hit the unsubscribe button, wait about 5 seconds, and then hit the resubscribe button. I feel like YouTube thinks I have a lot of inactive subscribers, or if you've been subscribed for years, they stop giving you notifications. They assume you've switched up. They've assumed you've moved on from this type of content. So quick, hit the unsubscribe button, wait about 5 or 10 seconds, and then hit the resubscribe button to kind of renew your subscription. And that's any video you watch every so often is probably a good practice. With that said, if you need coaching, go to kevhick.com, KEVHICK.com. The Girl Talk with Guys site is down or it's gone. So if you need coaching, go to kevhick.com. That's the new site. Relationship coaching, dating coaching, marriage coaching, life coaching. Y'all know what I do. I started this video, or I wanted to shoot this video, because I'm seeing a pattern in my clients that I've noticed before and I've addressed at an individual level, but I wanted to make this video for people who are still struggling with these types of things or are newly struggling with these types of things, because it's starting to affect a lot more people. And what I want to talk about today is this idea that when you watch content online, and this is one of the reasons why I've kind of scaled back, I've quit making dating content. I'll still talk about relationships, but I'm really on positive vibes only right now. So you'll see how my content changes as I start to record again. But what I've noticed and what I want to address here today is this idea that because bad things exist and bad people exist, everything is bad. Or I'm having a lot of clients who are coming to me who aren't creating experiences for themselves, who refuse to try based on an awareness that certain traumas exist and are being lived through other people. They watch content, they watch podcasts, they watch YouTube videos, they watch Instagram, TikTok, wherever they can ingest dating content. And much of dating content, because virality is a thing, if that's a word I want to use, the things that go viral, the things that are popular, are usually based on the negative aspects of dating and relationships, right? Because people need to feel something. So non-viral content fails to hit the mark and get views and things of that nature because people don't feel as passionately about it. Therefore, people have learned to talk about negative things and reinforce a lot of negative conversations to make people feel, because if you can piss people off, you can keep an audience, right? If you can get people arguing in the comment section, you can keep an audience. And it's not necessarily unscrupulous or nefarious or even money driven. It's just how culture starts to move the conversation. And right now the conversation is very negative to the point that people who haven't experienced any of the trauma that we talk about in our dating conversations or in the dating content are still being affected as if they have encountered it, right? So there are people who lived full lives and did it all, right? They've done it all and they've experienced it all. And so they speak with a level of experience and a level of understanding. And then there are other people who haven't experienced crap, haven't tried crap, haven't done crap, are afraid to date, are afraid to talk to people, are afraid to take numbers, are afraid to go on dates, are afraid to try to love, or afraid to be vulnerable because they understand that other people have been hurt, other people have been cheated on, other people have been bamboozled, swindled, run amok on, whatever you want to call it. I just want you to be reminded that when you watch dating content, whether it's my channel or whomever else's channel, a lot of times the videos are about a very specific context, right? So if it is a negative subject matter, then it's pointed at a very specific context. Maybe they have a client in mind or a particular story in mind or particular incidents or experience in mind that's unique to that person or the person who lived through that trauma. What I want people to stop doing is accepting or absorbing, other people's trauma because they encountered it in content form. I think that that's one of the worst things that you can do if you haven't found love, if you haven't found partnership, if you don't have the things that you want in life, is to go absorb content where people are reaffirming your biggest fears. And you're accepting that trauma and accepting the anxiety and the loss of confidence that comes with it just because you understand that it has happened to someone. Okay, so I was really careful, you got to be really careful who you watch and what type of content you take in, because unfortunately enough, we are all programmable. Every one of us. We don't like to admit it. Like when I'm talking to my clients and I'm noticing that they're telling me what happens and how people are out here. And then I'm like, okay, well, did you experience that recently? Well, no, but I watched a video oh God, here we go with this shit. Listen, if you haven't experienced trauma, please don't take on the weight, the burden, the anxiety, the damage of hearing a story online and then being weary before you even try to apply any effort to life at all, whether it's love, whether it's happiness, whether it's professionally, whatever. Don't absorb other people's traumas. You're programmable. You're more programmable than you think. That's why a lot of times I always say that one of the best ways to get to know a guy is to use YouTube at his house or get on his Google, right? Say you got to use his computer or get on his YouTube feed or something, get on his phone, and y'all be looking through text messages to see if a guy is talking to other women. You need to be looking at his YouTube history. You need to be seeing what type of content he's ingesting, how he's programming himself. Okay, so if you have a problem with a man or a woman, if you're a man watching this, I think sometimes you need to watch how they program themselves for or against love, for or against trust, for or against relationship health. Because most of the time, the things in the content that we take in, the things in the content that we ingest, that we absorb, becomes a part of us regardless. There's been studies, this is scientifically proven, you can look this up. The brain doesn't actually know the difference between a trauma you think of, a trauma you meditate on because you heard a story, and a trauma you've been through. Right? The mind doesn't differentiate. That's why it's so easy for some people to manifest great things, because the brain starts to believe and then create and manifest realities around the things that they meditate on. The brain doesn't know you're not rich. The brain doesn't know you're not successful. The brain doesn't know you're not great. You don't feel good. The brain doesn't know these things. You tell the brain what to think through your programming, through what you ingest. People say you are what you eat. That doesn't just limit itself to food. You are everything you come in contact with. You are what you touch, right? You are what you absorb mentally. You are what you absorb spiritually. You are what you eat physically. You are what you eat energetically, vibrationally, musically. Okay, so just be very careful not to only listen to the bad stuff, the sad songs, the depression, the abuse, the assaults. All of that stuff is good to know about. And my channel has always been based on trying to build awareness around how to avoid those traumas. And to avoid those traumas, you need to be aware of them. But I don't want you frozen in fear because someone else had trauma. Now you are traumatized, more so sometimes than the person who's actually been through the thing that you're trying to avoid. Okay, a lot of my clients are coming to me. They're not even creating new experiences for themselves. So when we're having these conversations about their dating lives, their love lives, or whatever, they have no new anything to bring to the conversation because they're frozen in place. Every time I talk to them, they've refused to either take the advice, to do the work, to commit to action, right? Because they know that trauma exists. Right. I understand a lot of people have been traumatized, and so they sit still because of that. Right. They sit still because they're healing. But too many of us are healing for shit that we haven't even been through, or need healing from shit that we haven't even been through. We saw it on TikTok. We saw it on Instagram. We watched a couple of guys stand around and talk about women in a rough way. And so now we feel like, well, I guess there's just no hope. We're going to just sit down. We listened to a bunch of women talk about sprinkle and why they're not going to Cheesecake Factory. And so now there's a lot of men truly in the depths of their hearts, pissed and resentful toward women who don't want to go to a chain restaurant or Cheesecake Factory, even though they've never had that experience of a woman not getting out of their car because she doesn't want to eat at cheesecake because it looks low budget or whatever the hell she was saying. That was some dumbass shit, by the way. And if y'all watching that type of content, you're going to be single. Most men who can still won't if they know that that's a prerequisite of yours. And again, do the math on who has money and who doesn't have money, and you realize that most women are looking for the top 1%, especially if you average height in. I'm 6'2". That puts me in a very 6'2", 6'2 and a half. That puts me in a very rare percentage of men. So if you're looking for handsome, height, and money, you've dropped yourself down to the last 3% of men. Good luck. There's that. We're not even gonna get into that. The point is this. Of course, things are happening terribly to people. Of course, much of my content is about what to avoid and tricks and schemes that men might play. excuse me. I'm not cutting it out. I'm not doing no editing this year. So if I do content, it's just going to be me rambling and giving y'all the long form. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I feel like I got burnt out on the editing and the long process of doing everything. And, sometimes getting, love back and sometimes not. So I'm not doing no editing this year. As far as I can say right now, everything's going to be one, maybe 2 takes, maybe a few cuts. That's it. I'm not editing any sneezes out. Even so, what I want you to remember is that just because it exists, just because it has happened to someone, just because it even has happened to you, doesn't make that the totality of possibility. It doesn't make that the total reality that you're facing, right? You create your reality through your experience, through your decisions. And I want you to remember the dominion that you have in your own life and in your own experience, and stop being afraid of going through what Susie went through, or Becky went through, or Tanya went through, or Kelly went through. Their experiences are very unique to a linear set of decisions that they made, right? So we can't even put ourselves in a position of someone else's trauma a lot of times because we haven't made those same decisions in the same sequence with the same person, given the same signs and signals. We just haven't, right? And so we can't apply our trauma to every person we see. There are women who are too tired to have conversations. The guy says hi. She's too tired. She's done already. Oh God, I'm so tired of these lazy ass men saying hi. That's all you got. Like you've assigned a bunch of trauma, low effort trauma in relationship to what you've heard online or what you've experienced with other men to a new individual who hasn't even gotten a chance to sin for themselves. So you sit idly by, letting life go past you, watching experience online, watching people live life through content or talk about a lived life, which is crazy. When you think about how people aren't living life, they're watching life. But content isn't always based on first person experience. You're not always getting a person's lived experience through content. So you're getting someone's idea of what life is to be lived through their content. And then you are stopping your actual life because you fear a life experience lived by someone who you've not met, haven't heard of, and haven't actually gotten first person point of view or experience from. And haven't been able to judge whether or not they're capable, whether or not they're a valid enough place to be believing anything. So just be very careful. Shit happens. Trauma is out here. Many of you have experienced trauma, but let people sin for themselves. And please stop absorbing the negativity that you get from dating content online simply because it exists and it's possible. There are other things that are possible. There are great things possible. Healthy relationships are possible. Healthy love is possible. Faithful love is possible. Marriage is possible. Family is possible, right? Those things are also possible. And those are also many lived experiences. We can go find somebody who's married, who's happy. We can go find somebody who's in love. We can let them talk, right? But we don't necessarily want to hear that because it makes us feel inferior for not having it. So we like to go where we're validated. And if we're lonely or if we're traumatized, we want to go revalidate that trauma so that we can sit in what we are and not feel guilty for having not moved on from trauma or moved into something else, not manifesting the life we want because we experienced trauma through someone else's anecdotal experience or through our own being frozen in place because we're too afraid to start over. So, on this channel, I just want to start talking about the more positive things. I want to start talking about how to build yourself up, how to become a better partner, how to contribute to healthier love, and refer to dating and relationships from the place of people having a better experience, because I think there's enough negative shit online right now reminding us of everything that can go wrong. And while I think trauma avoidance is super important, there are 590 videos on this channel or 600 videos on this channel about trauma avoidance. I'm sure some of them are positive, obviously, but there's at least 500 of those 600 videos about trauma avoidance. At that point, I think I've done my job for trauma avoidance. Now I want to talk about how you can build yourself up, how you can build your partner up, how you can love better, how you can create better love in your relationship so that you too don't traumatize each other. So that's my new that's my wave right now. So this will be about I think most videos will have some variation of becoming a better partner or becoming a better person, so that you can offer better partnership. And we're going to talk to that reality of people who are trying, people who are focused, people who are committed, people who are building up each other and edifying each other. And my personal progress, my personal goal as a husband to do the same for my wife and vice versa. Every once in a while, you have to add on to your experience some new effort. And I think that, success or being a good person or integrity, just all the things that you want for yourself, once you attain them or once you become them, they're not static. And so you have to work to maintain your goodness. If you were great, you have to work to maintain greatness. You're not great because you have been great. You're great because you've committed to what greatness looks like, what being great is. And so I think this channel will become about how we can all become great through our relationships, through our personal self-work, and through maybe the things that we offer life, instead of worrying so much about what can go wrong and what has gone wrong. And if you need to talk about what can go wrong or what has gone wrong, if you are dating and you're having relationship issues, if you are dating or are married and you're having problems, if you do need to make hard decisions, if you do need to have a hard conversation or a heavy conversation, I'm still here. Go to www.kevhick.com. I will be taking on clients like I've always taken on clients for dating issues, for relationship issues. I will never abandon my client base. But as far as the content, I'm just going to focus on how to be better, how to move forward in light. And I think I've warned you enough. I think the internet warns you enough. I think there are thousands of viral people who are having good conversations and some very shitty, unscrupulous conversations. Some nefarious content creators, and there's some also content creators much wiser and much more gifted than I am at giving information. So y'all don't need me for that anymore. So what I'll do is I'll focus on myself, my growth as a partner, as a husband, as a father, and any of your growth as a partner as well. We're just going to talk about how we can become better partners, how we can become better people. That's what this channel is going to be about. But like I said, whatever your relationship issues, love, life, or whatever, www.kevhick.com is where you can find me. Book a call. For all of you who have been subscribers for a while, like I said, please hit the unsubscribe button. I don't care if you even refresh the page, then hit the resubscribe button so that YouTube knows you still watch my content, because many of my closest clients, my longest clients, tell me they don't get my video reminders, don't get my video updates, even though they have notifications pushed. They've been subscribed forever. They never unsubscribed. I talk to them on a regular basis, but for some reason or another, YouTube has just decided not to give them that. I had one client tell me that she's been watching me for years. Obviously, I've been talking to her for years about different things, but she said that when she didn't log into her Google account and she was like on a strange account, like a guest account, my videos fill her feed up. But when she's logged into me as a subscriber, she never gets any notifications, which is backwards. So that's what I want to do. I want to help people, but I also want you to get the notifications that I'm doing new content. So like I said, follow me at KevHick on Instagram, KevHick24 on Instagram if you want. But KevHick.com is the website, and I'll see you later. Y'all have a good day.